I get people who say to me, I know what it is, Steve. I got it. I've got this thing that no one's ever heard before. And I say, tell me. And they'll talk about the law of attraction, or they'll talk about life balance, work-life balance. Not that those are bad topics, but 99% of the time, I've heard that like a million times. And I'll say, oh, you mean like Eckhart Tolle? Yes, like Eckhart Tolle. Oh, you mean like Jack Canfield? Yes, just like Jack Canfield. Oh, you mean like Brian Tracy? Yeah, like Brian Tracy. And if it's like somebody else, then we've heard it before. So can you do it yourself? I did it myself. It took me years, it took me decades, and I didn't even know I was doing it. I stumbled across it. It took me decades. I wish I had started 30 years ago with this knowledge. So can you do it yourself? Yes, it takes a long, long time. You're going to struggle through it, and you're going to miss countless opportunities along the way. So the best way to find that is to have somebody that's outside of somebody who's already outside of the bubble here, who's already looking at it from the outside, and somebody who is going to ask you the right questions that you can't think of yourself, questions you don't want to answer yourself. It's going to take all the bias out of it, all the ego out of it, rip your knowledge apart with you, and help you find the nugget in there that you never knew existed, or that you were afraid to find, or that nugget that is going to challenge your own beliefs. This happens sometimes too. I'll take a client and we'll walk through their business at a forensic level. And one of the things I try and encourage them to do is I'll say, take something in your business that you know to be true. What is the one thing that you know absolutely is true? The one thing that you base your entire concept on, what is that? They'll tell me what it is. And I'll say, okay, your job in the next week is to disprove it. Go out there, find everything you can to prove exactly why you are precisely wrong. Now, the purpose isn't to make them wrong. That's not the purpose. The purpose is for them to do the work towards that outcome so that they can get different perspectives. And oftentimes what happens is they'll come back to me and they'll say, this is what I've done. This is all the research I've done. These are all the arguments I've got. These are all the positions I've explored, and I still think I'm right. And I say, okay, perfect. Because you've already, now you can defend it right now. Take some of those arguments and put together a package that people have never heard before. Other times people will come to me and they'll say, you know what, I've been wrong for 25 years. Okay, it's not what I say it is, it's this other thing. And I say, perfect. Now you've got a new perspective. Let's take that new perspective, package it up in a way people haven't heard before, and let's present that to them. That work requires a lot of fortitude. It requires a lot of mental strain. It requires emotional strain. It requires time. It requires the separation of ego. And as experts, if you're not emotionally attached to your content, then you're not an expert. Right? And it's hard to separate from that. But that's the work. That's what we have to do. We have to separate emotionally from our stuff so that we can dissect our stuff objectively and find something in there that is that gold nugget that is buried under our ego that we have never been able to find before.